Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. I want you to sit back, relax, and truly listen to what I'm about to say. Today we're diving into a topic that, if you grasp it, can completely change the course of your life. It can reshape your personal and professional world in ways you never imagined. Now, I want to start by asking you a simple question. What's the one thing that most successful people have in common? What is it that separates the truly great from the average? Is it talent? Is it luck? Is it timing? No. It's something much simpler, much more accessible. It's consistency. Consistency is not flashy. It's not something you see in the headlines, and it doesn't make you an overnight success. But let me tell you this. Consistency is the engine that drives all the success you want. Without it, you might have bursts of activity or temporary wins, but success will always slip through your fingers. It's like building a house. You can't build a foundation with a few bricks thrown together here and there. You need a consistent, deliberate effort to build a strong, lasting structure. So what exactly do I mean when I say consistency? It's showing up day after day, putting in the effort, making small decisions every single day that align with your bigger goals. It's about taking consistent action, even when you don't feel like it, even when the results aren't immediate, and even when you feel like nobody is watching. It's about committing to something, day in and day out, and trusting that over time, it will pay off. Let's be honest for a second. Our world today is obsessed with quick wins. Social media bombards us with stories of people who seem to rise to the top overnight. We look at billionaires, influencers, and athletes and think, why not me? We want fast results. We want the shortcut. And who could blame us? In a world of instant gratification, it's easy to get caught up in that mindset. But here's the truth. The people you admire, the ones you think got lucky or hit it big in an instant, didn't arrive there overnight. What you didn't see, the thing that's often hidden behind the scenes, is the years of consistent effort that went into their rise. Real success, sustainable success, doesn't come from doing something big once in a while. It doesn't come from relying on luck or taking the easy route. It comes from the small, seemingly insignificant actions you take every day. Day in, day out. The daily habits, the constant grind. It comes from what you do when no one's watching. It's those consistent actions that compound over time to produce the extraordinary results you desire. We've all been there. You're excited. You set a goal, and you go all in. Maybe you're working harder than ever before, hustling and grinding with the belief that this one big push will take you to the top. But then, when things don't happen as quickly as expected, you lose steam. You get frustrated. You think, maybe this isn't for me. You take a break, you put things off, you stop showing up, and before you know it, the momentum is gone. Here's the catch. One big act of effort doesn't lead to long-term success. The key is doing the small things day after day, regardless of how you feel. Far too many people are seduced by the myth that there's one big breakthrough moment that will change everything. The reality is, success is built on consistency, not on one magical moment. You can't have a breakthrough until you've consistently put in the work. Think about it. If you're consistently taking one step forward, day after day, eventually you'll look back and realize you've walked a marathon. But if you keep jumping from one thing to the next, you'll never make it past the first mile. This is where the power of consistency really shows up, the compound effect. Imagine you take one small action every day, just one. Maybe you write 100 words a day toward your book. Maybe you invest 30 minutes in learning a new skill. Maybe you save $5 every day. At first it doesn't seem like much, but over time, these small actions stack up. That's the compound effect. Consistency, over time, leads to exponential growth. Here's the key. Small actions done consistently are what will lead you to massive success. Take writing, for example. If you write 100 words a day in 1 month, you'll have 3,000 words. By the end of the year, you'll have 36,000 words. That's almost a book. Or consider saving $5 a day. In a year, you'll have saved 1,025 hours. If you invested that 1,025 hours, it could grow to thousands over time. Consistency doesn't need to be monumental. It just needs to be steady. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking about success in terms of immediate results. Let me remind you, Success is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about committing to the long-term vision and taking small, consistent steps toward it, no matter how slow the progress feels. It's about trusting that the process works, even when the results aren't instant. And trust me, the results will come, just not as quickly as you want them to. Take a look at some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, didn't become a billionaire overnight. He started in a garage, selling books online. And for years, Amazon barely made a profit. It was Bezos's ability to stay consistent, to keep innovating, to keep making small, calculated decisions every single day that turned Amazon into one of the largest companies in the world. Had he given up after a year or after 2 or after 5, none of us would even know his name. So, what I want you to take away from this introduction is that consistency is the unsung hero of success. It's the thing that no one talks about because it's not glamorous. But I'm telling you right now, if you can get this into your mind and heart and commit to showing up every single day, your success is inevitable. Today, we're going to explore how you can apply consistency in your own life, in your own business, in your own journey. We'll break down how consistency works, how to start building consistent habits, and how to stay the course even when the going gets tough. This isn't about a quick fix. It's about a lifestyle change. And once you make that shift, you'll start seeing results you never thought possible. So let's dive deep into why consistency is truly the key to your success. Because the journey starts today, and it starts with one simple step: committing to showing up, no matter what. You ready? Let's go. Number 1, the power of consistency. All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful concepts in the world of personal growth and success: the compound effect. If you're not familiar with it, let me explain how it works and why it's the backbone of consistency. You decide that you want to get fit, but instead of committing to an extreme workout routine that's unsustainable, you decide to take a simpler approach. You say to yourself, I'll start by walking 10 minutes every day. Now, at first, walking 10 minutes doesn't seem like much. It feels insignificant. You might think, how could something so small really make a difference? But here's where the magic happens. What you're doing is setting the foundation for something much bigger. If you stick with it and continue walking 10 minutes every day for a week, you've walked 70 minutes. In a month, that's 30 days of walking, which adds up to 300 minutes, 5 hours of consistent effort. That's 5 hours of activity you would have never had if you didn't start with that small action. Now, the next month, you might decide to increase your walking time to 20 minutes a day. And guess what? That's 600 minutes a month, or 10 hours. By consistently adding just a few minutes to your routine each month, you're compounding your progress. What was once a small, simple action has now become a habit that is not only sustainable, but it's starting to show real results. Let's take this a step further. Imagine you're reading one page of a book every day. At first, that's nothing, right? But in a week, you've read 7 pages. In a month, that's 30 pages. In a year, you've read 365 pages. You've finished books. By reading just 1 page a day over time, you've absorbed an entire book's worth of knowledge. The compound effect shows us that success doesn't require massive actions every day. It's about doing small things consistently. What matters isn't that you do something extraordinary in one moment. What matters is that you take small, deliberate actions every day and let those actions build momentum. You see, this is why consistency is so powerful. The effects of consistent effort don't show up overnight, but over time, they begin to add up, and when you look back, you realize how far you've come. But if you were to stop after a month or two because you didn't see big results right away, you'd never experience that compounded growth. Think about a savings account. If you put just $10 a day into your account, at the end of the year you'll have $3,250. But if you invested that money wisely, over time, it could grow into a significant sum. This is the beauty of the compound effect. It doesn't require you to be a genius or have extraordinary resources. It just requires you to show up consistently, with a long-term mindset. You don't have to be exceptional to win. You don't need to be extraordinary. You just need to be consistent. And that's what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Those who succeed are the ones who refuse to give up when the results don't come immediately. Consistency versus perfection. Now I want to address a major stumbling block for many of you. It's a concept that holds people back from ever getting started, and that is the pursuit of perfection. You see, many of us fall into the trap of waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or the perfect plan before we take action. Let me tell you right now, there's no such thing as the perfect moment. If you're waiting for the stars to align, for everything to fall into place, you'll be waiting forever. Because perfection, by its very nature, is elusive. The truth is, perfectionism often leads to procrastination. You think that if everything isn't perfect, you shouldn't even try. But here's the reality. Perfection doesn't exist in the real world, and waiting for it is the fastest way to achieve nothing. When you wait for the perfect conditions, you end up stuck. You stay in the planning phase, in the dreaming phase, but never in the action phase. You read every self-help book, watch every YouTube video, and wait for the perfect time to start. But let me tell you something important. The best time to start is right now. The moment you decide to act, that's the perfect moment. Think about it. How many people out there are waiting for that perfect day, the perfect job, the perfect idea, the perfect relationship, or the perfect body? They never get started because they think they have to wait until everything aligns. But perfection is a fantasy. The only thing that guarantees success is consistent action, no matter how imperfect it may seem at first. Here's the thing. Consistent, imperfect action is always better than waiting for the perfect moment. You see, when you act, even imperfectly, you start learning and adapting. Every time you show up, you improve. And that's how you build momentum. You don't need to be perfect to start. What you need is to be consistent. Consistency will get you closer to your goal every single day, even if those first few steps are clumsy or awkward. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're learning to play the guitar. You start out by playing a few chords. You might sound terrible at first. You might struggle with your finger placement, and the sound might be off key. But if you practice consistently, day after day, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, over time, you'll improve. The sound will get better. Your fingers will move more confidently, and before you know it, you're playing songs. This is the beauty of consistency. Progress doesn't have to be perfect, but it always builds over time. And the more you show up, the better you become. Success is not about being perfect from the start. It's about showing up and improving little by little. Let's take a look at a famous example, Steve Jobs. When he started Apple, the company was far from perfect. In fact, Apple's first computers were clunky, slow, and far from user-friendly. But Jobs didn't wait for the perfect product. He made mistakes. He failed. He learned. He kept iterating and improving. And over time, his consistency paid off, and Apple became one of the most valuable companies in the world. The lesson here is simple. Don't wait for perfection. You'll never get it. Start imperfectly, and then improve as you go. The more you do something, the better you'll get at it. And as long as you stay consistent, your skills will grow, your confidence will grow, and your results will grow. Taking action in the face of imperfection. Let me leave you with a final thought on this topic. Daily action is the key. I know it's tempting to think that success happens in bursts, in big leaps, but the truth is, success is built over time, and that time is made up of small, consistent actions. You don't need to wait for perfection, and you don't need to wait for the perfect moment. All you need is to start, to show up, to commit to consistency, because the compound effect of consistent action, compounded over time, will always bring you closer to your goal. And that, my friends, is the true power of consistency. So if you take anything away from this, it's this. Don't wait for perfection. Stop searching for the perfect time. Instead, take small, consistent actions every day. Show up, even when it feels like you're not making progress. Trust in the compound effect of those daily actions. Over time, those small steps will lead you to bigger and better results than you ever thought possible. Your consistency is the key to unlocking your potential and achieving the success you deserve. Number 2, consistency in daily habits. Now let's talk about one of the most important forces in shaping your life and your success, your habits. Your habits are what determine your future. Think about it. What you do daily, without even thinking about it, shapes the person you become. The way you wake up, the way you eat, how much time you spend learning or working, all of it is determined by your habits. And here's the thing. Whether your habits are good or bad, they're always shaping your future. Many people make the mistake of thinking that success is something that only happens in big, bold actions. But the reality is that success is a collection of small, seemingly insignificant actions that, when repeated consistently, shape who you are and where you're headed. Your habits are the foundation of your results. When you wake up every morning, you make decisions about what you're going to do with your day, often without even realizing it. Some of those decisions are good, like waking up early, making your bed, exercising, eating well, or setting goals. But some of them are not so good, like hitting the snooze button repeatedly, scrolling through social media first thing, procrastinating, or skipping meals. Every small action you take throughout the day is part of the bigger picture of your success or failure. Now, habits aren't formed overnight. It's a process. But when you consistently engage in the same behavior over time, it starts to become second nature. You don't have to think about it anymore. Whether it's brushing your teeth, reading a book, or going for a run, habits are the things we do without conscious effort. They're the things that take little energy or thought, but have a massive impact on our lives. Think about the habits of successful people. They have certain rituals they follow each day that reinforce their goals and keep them moving forward. They don't wake up in the morning and wonder whether or not they'll work out. It's just what they do. It's part of their identity. Action steps for building consistent habits. Now, if you're serious about creating new habits that lead to success, the first thing you need to understand is this. Don't try to change everything at once. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see people make. They get excited, they feel motivated, and they decide they're going to overhaul their entire life. They say, I'm going to start waking up at 5 a.m., exercise for an hour, meditate, eat perfectly, and read 30 minutes every day. That sounds great, but what happens? They go all in for a few days and then burn out because they tried to do too much too fast. The key to building consistent habits is starting small. Make it so easy that you can't fail. Start with just one small action. If you want to start exercising, don't jump straight into an hour-long workout. Begin by walking for just 10 minutes every day. Just 10 minutes. That's it. It's simple, it's easy, and you can't use the excuse of being too busy or not having enough energy. Anyone can find 10 minutes. As you start getting comfortable with that 10-minute walk, something amazing happens. You'll start to build momentum. Once you've established that small habit, you'll start looking forward to it. And when that happens, you can increase it gradually. Maybe you'll go from 10 minutes to 15 minutes. Maybe you'll add a couple of minutes of stretching at the end. Slowly, over time, you're building something that's sustainable. This is how habits are formed. One small, easy step at a time. And as you continue to build on that foundation, you'll gain confidence, you'll feel better, and you'll start seeing results. The key is not to overwhelm yourself with big, unrealistic goals. Start with something small that you can do every single day, and then let your consistency build on itself. Another crucial tip for building habits that stick is to make them as effortless as possible. This is where most people fail. They set up goals that are too complicated or require too much energy. But if you want a habit to truly stick, make it so easy that it almost feels like you can't fail. You want to remove as many obstacles as possible. For example, let's say your goal is to start reading more. Instead of setting a goal like, I'm going to read 50 pages a day, which can feel overwhelming, especially if you're not a reader, start by saying, I'm going to read 1 page a day. It sounds ridiculous, right? But here's the trick. It's so small and easy that you have no reason not to do it. And what happens is this. Once you read that first page, you often end up reading more. Maybe 5 pages, maybe 10, but it starts with that initial, tiny action. The science of habit formation. Now you might be wondering, how long does it actually take to form a habit? Well, the research shows that on average, it takes about 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. But that's just an average. Some people may develop a habit in 21 days, while others may take longer. The important thing is to stick with it. The key takeaway here is to focus on consistency, not speed. The goal isn't to create habits overnight, it's to gradually incorporate them into your life. As long as you're consistent, the time it takes won't matter. Just keep showing up, keep doing the small actions, and eventually they'll become part of who you are. There's also something called the habit loop. This is the cycle your brain goes through when forming a new habit. First, you have the cue, which is something that triggers the habit, like waking up in the morning or feeling stressed. Then comes the routine, which is the action you take, like reading a book or exercising. And finally, you have the reward, which is the positive feeling or result you get from doing the behavior, like feeling energized after a workout or proud of yourself for reading a book. The more you repeat this loop, the stronger it becomes. Over time, the habit becomes automatic. You no longer have to think about it. You just do it. Creating habits for long-term success. Now that you understand how habits work, let's talk about how to use them to your advantage. You need to align your habits with your long-term goals. If you want to be successful in business, for example, your habits should include things that move you toward your business goals. If you want to improve your health, your habits should focus on nutrition, exercise, and sleep. If you want to grow personally, your habits should involve learning, reading, and self-reflection. The beauty of habits is that, once they become ingrained, you don't have to think about them. You just do them. And over time, all these small actions add up to big results. So ask yourself, what habits do I need to cultivate to get closer to my dreams? For example, if you want to be more productive, you could build a habit of planning your day the night before. Every evening, before you go to bed, take 5 minutes to review what you need to do the next day. This small action, done consistently, will help you be far more focused and productive than if you just wake up each day and try to figure it out as you go along. Overcoming obstacles to consistency. Even when you start small, you might face resistance. Some days you'll want to quit. Some days you'll feel like it's not worth it. But remember, consistency isn't about being perfect every day. It's about showing up every day. If you miss a day, don't give up. Just pick yourself up the next day and keep going. It's the long-term effort that matters. Overcoming obstacles is part of the journey, but if you've laid the foundation with small, easy actions, you'll find it easier to stay on track. Your habits will shape your life more than anything else. They are the building blocks of your future. And the secret to creating powerful, life-changing habits is consistency. Start small. Make it easy. Stay consistent. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize that those tiny habits have led you to big results. You don't need to change everything at once. Just focus on one habit, one small action, and let that momentum carry you toward success. Number 3, the mental challenge of consistency. Now let's talk about something no one likes to admit but everyone experiences. Let's be real here. Consistency isn't always going to be smooth sailing. You will face moments when you doubt yourself. You'll experience setbacks. There will be days when you feel like quitting. There will be times when you wonder, is this even worth it? Am I really making progress? Why am I doing this? And I'm here to tell you, that's normal. In fact, that's where the real work happens. That's where the difference between success and failure is made. You see, everyone talks about the glory of success, but they rarely talk about the struggle. They don't talk about the moments of doubt, the days when you wake up feeling like it's not worth it. But let me tell you something important. The people who succeed are the ones who keep going when it feels like they're not getting anywhere. The people who make it are the ones who stay consistent, even when the results aren't showing up right away. When you're consistent day after day, sometimes the rewards aren't immediate. Sometimes your effort seems invisible. You feel like you're giving your all and not seeing the results you expected. This is where many people give up. They assume that because they don't see tangible results, they're doing something wrong. They think, what's the point of doing this if nothing is happening? But listen to me. Self-doubt and discouragement are not signs that you're failing. They're signs that you're on the right path. When you start feeling discouraged, that's when you know you're pushing yourself. It's when you're out of your comfort zone. And that's exactly where you need to be if you want to grow. Let me give you an example. Think about a farmer who plants a seed. Day after day, they water it, they tend to it, but they don't see anything above the ground for a long time. It might feel like nothing's happening, but underneath the soil, something is happening. The roots are growing deep, preparing for the plant to break through the surface when the time is right. And here's the thing about success. Sometimes you're just like that seed. You might not see results immediately, but if you stay consistent and keep doing the work, you will eventually break through. The seeds you're planting today, whether that's in your career, in your health, or in your relationships, are going to pay off, but you have to stay consistent even when you don't see immediate results. The key is to change your mindset. Instead of measuring your progress by how fast things are happening, measure it by how consistently you're showing up. The days when you feel discouraged are the days that will define your success. They are the days when your commitment to consistency will be tested. The power of commitment. Commitment is a powerful word. Commitment means you're not just in it for the easy wins. It means you're in it for the long haul. You're not looking for shortcuts. You're not looking for an easy path. Commitment is a decision. It's the moment you decide that no matter how hard it gets, no matter what obstacles come your way, you will stay the course. You will keep showing up, day after day, because you are committed to your own growth. Let's be clear here. Success isn't about talent. It's not about being smarter, more skilled, or luckier than everyone else. It's about persistence. The people who win, the people who create the life they want, are the ones who simply refuse to quit. Talent gets you started, but persistence gets you to the finish line. Consistency, day in and day out, is what separates those who make it from those who give up along the way. Some of you might be thinking, I don't have the strength to commit to something big. Well, let me tell you, you don't have to commit to everything all at once. Start small. Commit to just one thing, just one habit, just one daily action, and make that a non-negotiable part of your day. Maybe it's committing to reading 10 pages a day. Maybe it's committing to writing for 15 minutes every morning. Maybe it's committing to working out for 20 minutes a day. The key to consistency is not about making huge leaps, but making small, consistent commitments and sticking to them. When you make a commitment to something, no matter how small, and you follow through day after day, you're building a muscle of consistency. You're training your mind to push through when things get tough. When you decide to be consistent, you stop focusing on temporary motivation or fleeting bursts of energy. You focus on the long-term payoff, on the person you're becoming. Commitment to consistency is a mindset shift. It's no longer about waiting for the perfect moment or hoping for a sudden burst of inspiration. It's about choosing to show up, even when you don't feel like it. The truth is, success is not just about achieving a specific goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who can achieve that goal. And that person is made through consistent effort, through the daily grind, through the decision to keep going even when things get hard. It's about embracing the process, not just the outcome. Success, real success, is built on the person you become in the process. You're developing discipline, resilience, and strength. You're developing the ability to keep moving forward, even when the road is tough. And when you keep going, even when it's hard, you'll look back and realize that every single day you showed up and stayed consistent is what made the difference. The mental toughness of consistency. Let me tell you something. Consistency is mental toughness in action. It's about being able to push through the difficult days, the days when you feel like you're not making progress, the days when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when the world feels like it's against you. Those are the days that build your mental strength. Those are the days that make you stronger, more determined, more focused. You've got to build the mental toughness to keep going when things are hard. And here's the truth about mental toughness. It's not something you're born with. It's something you develop by showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's something you create every time you make a commitment and keep it, no matter how tough things get. When you face challenges, don't view them as roadblocks. See them as opportunities to prove your commitment, to prove your persistence. Every challenge you face is a chance for you to build your resilience, to learn something new about yourself, and to become stronger. Remember, it's not the challenges that will break you. It's your ability to keep going in spite of them that will define your success. It's your consistency in facing challenges, in pushing through the hard times that will determine your future. The long-term power of commitment. Here's what's amazing about commitment. When you stick with something long enough, you start to see the ripple effect. Your consistency not only affects the area where you're focusing, but it starts to overflow into other areas of your life. Consistency in your health will affect your energy levels, your productivity, and even your mindset. Consistency in your business will increase your confidence, your skills, and your reputation. Your commitment to consistency will start to change everything about you, and the world will begin to notice. But it all starts with you making that decision to stay consistent, no matter what comes your way. Because once you're committed, once you've made that decision to never quit, nothing can stop you. The journey of consistency is not easy. It's filled with moments of doubt, discouragement, and challenges. But those are the moments that separate the successful from the unsuccessful. The key is to stay committed. Keep showing up, even when it feels hard, even when you don't see immediate results. The real power of consistency lies in your ability to persist, to keep going when everyone else would quit. Because those who stay consistent, no matter what, are the ones who will eventually succeed. Number 4, case studies of success. Now, let's take a moment to look back at history and explore the stories of individuals who achieved greatness, not because they were born with extraordinary talent, but because they were committed to the long and sometimes painful road of consistency. These are the people who didn't give up when things got tough, and they didn't give in to doubt or failure. They understood that success comes from steady, unwavering effort, not from flashes of brilliance or overnight success. 1. Thomas Edison and the light bulb. One of the most well-known figures when it comes to consistency is Thomas Edison. Edison is often celebrated for inventing the light bulb, but the real story behind his success is far from glamorous. The truth is, Edison failed thousands of times before he finally got it right. Now let's pause here for a moment. Thousands of failures. Think about that. The man who is now regarded as one of the greatest inventors in history went through an enormous amount of trial and error. It wasn't a smooth path to success, and it wasn't a quick one either. But through all of those failures, Edison never gave up. Instead of quitting after his first, second, or 100th failure, he viewed every setback as a lesson. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is the mindset of someone who understands the power of consistency. Edison was consistent in his pursuit. He didn't look for shortcuts or an easier way. He showed up every day, even when it seemed like his efforts were going nowhere. And after thousands of attempts, he finally succeeded in creating the incandescent light bulb. But here's the truth. His success didn't happen because of some sudden breakthrough moment. It was a result of his consistent effort over time. His success was built on persisting through failure and understanding that every failure was a step closer to success. 2. The Wright brothers and the airplane. Let's move on to another example of consistent effort. The Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright. These two men are responsible for the invention of the first powered airplane. But like Edison, their journey wasn't an easy one. It was filled with failures, skepticism, and adversity. At the time, many thought flying machines were an impossible dream. There were numerous attempts before them, many of which ended in failure. But the Wright brothers were different. They didn't have the resources, the money, or the formal education that others did. But what they did have was consistency and an unshakable belief in their vision. For years, they meticulously worked on their designs, experimenting and failing, only to try again the next day. And ultimately, after years of relentless work, their dream of flying became a reality. One of the most remarkable things about their story is their perseverance. They didn't have success handed to them. It didn't come with a quick breakthrough or a sudden flash of genius. Their success came from sticking with it, from continuing to put in the work day after day, even when they didn't have the answers and when others had given up. And because of their consistency, they made history. 3. Winston Churchill and leadership. One final historical example comes from the life of Winston Churchill. Churchill is one of the most iconic leaders of the 20th century, but his rise to prominence was not without struggles. He faced countless defeats throughout his career, and often found himself ridiculed or cast aside by his peers. Churchill's leadership during World War II is legendary, but before he became the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, he had a long history of political failure. He was defeated in multiple elections, made some terrible missteps, and at times was seen as out of touch with the needs of the people. Yet, despite all of this, Churchill remained unwavering in his belief in himself and his vision for Britain. Churchill's consistency, his ability to show up time and time again, regardless of past defeats, was a major factor in his eventual success. When the war broke out, he became the leader Britain needed, and his consistency and resolve helped lead the Allies to victory. His life shows us that failure doesn't define you. It's your consistency and commitment to keep going that leads to success. Modern-day success stories. Now that we've seen how consistency has played a key role in the lives of historical figures, let's turn our attention to some modern-day examples. These are people you likely know, people who have become household names, and they didn't get where they are by luck, by chance, or by taking shortcuts. They got there through consistent, deliberate action over many years. 1. Elon Musk. Let's start with Elon Musk. Musk is often regarded as one of the most visionary entrepreneurs of our time, and while his success may seem meteoric, it's important to understand the years of consistent effort that went into it. Many people look at Musk's success with companies like Tesla, SpaceX, and PayPal and think it all happened overnight. But let me tell you something. His story is one of incredible perseverance. Musk's first major venture was Zip2, a software company he co-founded in the late 1990s. He eventually sold that company for nearly $300 million. But instead of retiring or settling into an easy life, he took the money and reinvested it into new ventures. He founded X.com, which later became PayPal, and eventually sold that to eBay for over $1 billion. But even after achieving substantial wealth, Musk's journey was far from easy. Tesla was almost bankrupt multiple times. SpaceX experienced multiple rocket failures, and many critics said his ambitions were unrealistic. But through it all, Musk stayed consistent in his pursuit of his larger vision. He continued to show up, work hard, and persist through failures. Today, he's revolutionizing space travel, electric cars, and renewable energy. Musk's story is a powerful example of the power of consistent action and belief in long-term goals. 2. Jeff Bezos. Another modern-day success story is Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. Bezos started Amazon in 1994 as a small online bookstore, working out of his garage. At the time, many people doubted his vision. The internet was still in its early stages, and people didn't know if online shopping would ever catch on. But Bezos stayed consistent in his pursuit of building Amazon into a global e-commerce powerhouse. He didn't take shortcuts. He reinvested profits back into the business, built infrastructure, and focused on providing the best possible customer experience. Early on, Bezos made some incredibly difficult decisions, such as prioritizing growth over profit, decisions that many saw as risky. But his consistency paid off. Amazon is now one of the largest companies in the world, and Bezos' vision has reshaped entire industries. Bezos' story proves that success doesn't come from making quick decisions or chasing shortcuts. It comes from consistent action, reinvestment in your vision, and the determination to push through the inevitable challenges. 3. Oprah Winfrey. Finally, let's talk about Oprah Winfrey. Oprah's rise to fame is one of the most inspiring stories of modern success. She grew up in poverty and faced immense challenges as a young woman. She worked her way up from local television reporting to eventually hosting her own national talk show. But Oprah didn't get there by taking shortcuts. She worked consistently, day after day, for years. And even after she became famous, her journey wasn't easy. Oprah faced criticism, personal challenges, and professional setbacks throughout her career. There were times when she wanted to give up, times when people told her she wouldn't make it. But Oprah remained consistent. She showed up for her audience every day. She worked tirelessly to bring value to people's lives, and over time, she built an empire. Today, Oprah's name is synonymous with success. But that success didn't happen by accident. It was the result of decades of consistent effort, hard work, and determination. Oprah's story is a reminder that no matter where you start, no matter the obstacles you face, staying consistent in your pursuit of your vision is the key to turning your dreams into reality. So, what can we learn from these stories? Whether it's Edison and his thousands of attempts to perfect the light bulb, the Wright brothers' relentless pursuit of flight, or modern-day moguls like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Oprah Winfrey, the message is clear. Success is not about shortcuts or talent. It's about consistency. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and refusing to give up, no matter the setbacks or challenges. It's about persisting, even when it seems like nothing is happening. Because when you look at these stories, you realize that every small step, every failure, and every challenge was part of the journey to success. And your journey can be just as powerful if you stay consistent. Number 5. Overcoming setbacks and challenges. Let me be clear about something. Along the path to success, you will face setbacks. There's no way around it. Life is full of obstacles, challenges, and moments where it feels like everything is working against you. You'll encounter difficult times when you wonder if it's even worth it. You might be tempted to throw in the towel, to give up, or to question everything you've been working toward. But here's the key to remember. Setbacks do not equal failure. In fact, setbacks are often part of the process. They're not signs that you're not cut out for success. They're signs that you're pushing the boundaries of what you can do. They're part of the journey. They help build resilience. They shape who you are and who you will become. It's how you respond to those setbacks that will ultimately determine your success. When a setback happens, it can feel devastating. Maybe you failed a test, lost a job, experienced a financial setback, or saw your business idea crash and burn. The immediate response is often fear or discouragement. You might even hear that little voice in your head telling you to quit, telling you that maybe you're just not meant for success. But those who succeed understand that failure is not a stopping point. It's a stepping stone. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to adjust your course. The most successful people didn't get to where they are by avoiding obstacles. They got there by learning to embrace them, by navigating through them, and by using each one as a tool to become better at what they do. 1. Setbacks are temporary. Think of setbacks like detours on a road. You set out on your journey to success, and you have a map of how things should go. But somewhere along the way, there's a roadblock. A detour forces you to go around the obstacle, maybe in a direction you hadn't planned. But that detour doesn't mean the journey is over. It just means you need to be flexible. It means you need to find another way. And let me tell you, the detour often leads you to a better route, to better opportunities, new lessons, and even more determination. Setbacks are like temporary roadblocks, but they are not permanent obstacles. They will pass, and you will grow from them. If you let setbacks define your journey, then you'll never get to the destination. The real test of your success lies in your ability to keep moving forward in the face of adversity. 2. Real-life example of overcoming obstacles. Let me share a story with you that might resonate. I'm sure you're familiar with the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Rowling, before becoming one of the world's richest authors, was a single mother living on welfare. She was rejected by 12 different publishers before Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was finally accepted. 12 rejections. Think about that for a second. Most people would have given up after the first, second, or fifth rejection. Most would have thrown the manuscript away and decided that writing wasn't for them. But Rowling didn't. She was consistent. She kept submitting, kept believing in her story, and kept pushing forward. And the world is better for it. That one manuscript led to one of the most successful book series in history. But none of that would have happened if she had given up after her setbacks. Her journey is proof that setbacks don't define you. It's how you respond to them that makes the difference. And J.K. Rowling responded with persistence and belief. She showed up every day, no matter how many doors were closed in her face. And look where that consistency took her. Resilience and consistency. Now let's talk about resilience. Resilience is your ability to recover quickly from setbacks, adapt to challenges, and keep moving forward with confidence. It's about bouncing back from adversity, not letting it keep you down. Here's the truth. Success is not about avoiding mistakes. It's not about having a perfect record. The people who make it big in life are not the ones who avoid failure. They are the ones who recover faster, learn from their mistakes, and adjust their approach when things go wrong. Resilience is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And the only way to develop resilience is to face adversity head-on, learn from it, and keep going. Mental resilience is about refusing to quit when life gets tough, when things don't go your way, when you hit a wall. Your ability to adapt and push forward is what will determine your future success. If you're resilient, setbacks won't crush you. They will motivate you to find a new way forward, and resilience can be developed, but it requires consistent effort. Think about athletes for a moment. Every professional athlete faces physical and mental setbacks, whether it's injuries, losing streaks, or personal challenges. But the best athletes are those who come back stronger after each setback. They don't let failure define them. They bounce back, refine their techniques, and get back to work. It's this combination of resilience and consistency that makes champions. 3. The importance of adjusting your approach. When you face setbacks, it's also important to adjust your approach. A setback doesn't mean that your goal is impossible. It just means that you might need to approach it differently. If your current path isn't working, don't be afraid to change direction. Success is not a straight line. It's full of curves, bumps, and detours. But with resilience, you can adjust your course, find a new path, and keep moving forward. Let's take the example of Thomas Edison again. When his first attempts at the light bulb failed, he didn't give up. He just adjusted his approach. He experimented with different materials and designs, and eventually, his consistency and resilience paid off. Edison didn't see failure as an end. It was simply feedback to refine his strategy. That's what resilience looks like. Not giving up, but adjusting your methods and trying again. 4. Building resilience through consistency. Building resilience isn't something that happens overnight. It's built through the little things you do every day. It's built through your daily habits, your consistency in showing up, even when it's hard. Every time you face a challenge and keep going, you strengthen your resilience. Every time you make a mistake, learn from it, and keep going, you're building the muscle of perseverance. It's a process, but it's one that pays off immensely. One of the best ways to build resilience is to embrace challenges rather than shy away from them. When you consistently push yourself beyond your comfort zone, you train your mind and body to handle difficulties. You teach yourself that you can bounce back from anything, and that's an incredibly powerful mindset to have. 5. The real winners. The real winners in life are not the ones who never face setbacks. No, they're the ones who keep going when things get tough. The winners are the ones who keep showing up, even when it feels like nothing is going their way. They don't let setbacks stop them. They use them as fuel to keep moving forward, to adapt, and to find new ways to achieve their goals. Let me tell you something. Success is not about avoiding mistakes. It's about making adjustments and continuing the journey. Resilience is about believing in yourself, even when things aren't going according to plan. It's about getting back up after you've been knocked down, learning from your failures and saying, "I will not be defeated." So here's the bottom line. Setbacks are part of the process. You will face them. You will make mistakes. But the difference between success and failure isn't about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up. The key to overcoming setbacks is resilience, the ability to learn from mistakes, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward, no matter how hard it gets. Remember, success isn't just about being consistent. It's about staying consistent even when things don't go your way. If you can do that, if you can stay resilient, learn from your setbacks, and keep showing up, there's nothing that can stop you. Your future success is not determined by the obstacles you face. It's determined by your ability to persist, to learn, and to grow from every challenge. So keep going, keep learning, keep adjusting, because every setback is a lesson, and every lesson gets you one step closer to your success. Number 6, building long-term success. Success is a journey, not a destination. Let's get one thing straight. Success is not a final destination. It's not a place you reach and say, well, that's it, I've arrived. No, success is a journey, a process, a never-ending evolution of who you are and what you can achieve. And here's the most important part. It's the journey that transforms you, that shapes you into the person capable of achieving the things you once thought were impossible. When you embrace consistency, you start to realize that success isn't about arriving at some perfect point in time. It's about continuously growing, continuously improving, and consistently working toward your goals. And the beauty of this journey is that as you move forward, you're not just achieving external success, you're becoming someone greater than you ever imagined. You are evolving with every step you take. 1. The process of becoming. Most people think of success as a final goal. They believe that once they reach that goal, whether it's a certain amount of money, a title, or recognition, they've made it. But the truth is, once you reach one goal, you'll set another, and another, and another. The process of success is ongoing. Success is about who you become in the process, and that transformation is the most powerful part. Think about it. When you work hard and stay consistent, you don't just gain achievements and material rewards. You become a different person. You become someone who can handle adversity with grace. You become someone who doesn't back down when things get tough. You become someone who is stronger, smarter, and more resilient. And that's the ultimate prize. The destination may be just a moment, but the person you become along the way, that's the real success. Consider someone like Kobe Bryant, the legendary basketball player. We often hear about his 5 NBA championships, his accolades, and his success on the court. But what most people don't see is the constant grind, the thousands of hours of practice, the sacrifices he made. The success that was celebrated was just a reflection of the man he became in the process of striving toward greatness. Success wasn't about winning the titles. It was about who he had to become to get there. And in this journey, he not only became one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but he also became a mentor, a business mogul, and an inspiration to millions around the world. 2. Enjoying the process of growth. When you understand that success is a journey, you start to see that the journey itself is where the magic happens. It's where you grow, where you learn, where you build the skills, the mindset, and the habits that will sustain you. And once you start to embrace the grind, the small, daily actions, the more you'll find joy and fulfillment in the process itself. Too many people are in a rush to get to their destination. They're chasing the prize, the end goal, but they're missing out on the greatest gift of all, the experience. When you're focused on the journey, you learn to enjoy the work. You develop a deep sense of satisfaction from taking small steps every day. And that's when success becomes not just something you're after, but something you live every single day. Take Steve Jobs, for example. People often talk about the incredible innovations he brought to the tech world, the iPhone, iPad, and other Apple products. But what made Steve Jobs so unique wasn't just the end results. It was his obsession with the process. Jobs wasn't just interested in building great products. He was deeply involved in every step of the process. From the design of the product to the user experience, Jobs poured his passion and his soul into the grind. And that's why his products had the impact they did. Success wasn't something he was simply chasing. It was something he was living through every single day of his work. The daily grind of success. Now let's talk about the real secret behind long-term success, the daily grind. So many people are looking for shortcuts, hacks, or some magical way to skip past the hard work. They think if they just work harder or faster, they'll get to the end quicker. But the truth is, there's no shortcut to success. The grind is where the success happens. It's where you develop the skills, the habits, and the mindset necessary to achieve your dreams. When you commit to consistency, you begin to understand that it's the small, seemingly insignificant actions you take every single day that compound over time. Those small daily actions are the building blocks of your future success. And the more you embrace the grind, the more you realize that it's not just about achieving something big, it's about growing each day, even when you don't see immediate results. 1. The compound effect of consistency. As I mentioned earlier, this is where the compound effect comes into play. When you commit to the grind, even the tiniest consistent actions add up over time. Maybe it's getting up a little earlier every day, reading a few pages of a book, making one more phone call, or writing just one paragraph of your novel. On their own, these actions might seem insignificant, but over time, they compound, and before you know it, you've built a foundation of success so strong that you can't help but succeed. Think of it this way. Success doesn't come from one big leap forward. It comes from small, deliberate steps taken day after day, year after year. And the more you fall in love with the grind, the consistent daily effort, the more you begin to understand that the grind itself is the reward. 2. Embracing the process, not just the outcome. It's easy to get caught up in the end result. We often want to skip to the part where we're standing on the mountaintop looking back at all we've accomplished. But here's the thing. The mountaintop doesn't mean much unless you've enjoyed the climb. The view from the top is only meaningful because you've been working, climbing, and sweating to get there. Success is about embracing the climb, the challenge, the journey, because that's where the growth is. Take the example of an athlete in training. They're not just focused on the championship they hope to win. If they were, they would burn out quickly. Instead, they fall in love with the daily routine, the early mornings, the practices, the repetition of the same drills. They understand that the grind is where they improve, and over time, that improvement leads them to their goals. Let me give you a personal example. There's a certain magic in the small daily victories. Maybe it's the way you feel after finishing a 30-minute workout, or the sense of accomplishment after writing 500 words toward your book. These small, consistent actions, no matter how insignificant they might feel in the moment, are what build success over time. If you learn to embrace these small steps, they will carry you through the bigger challenges and help you reach your ultimate goals. 3. Consistency in building momentum. Here's a key thing to remember. Consistency creates momentum. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes to keep going. Momentum is a powerful force. When you start to see the fruits of your efforts, you gain confidence, and that confidence fuels more effort. You start to feel unstoppable because you know that every small action is moving you closer to your goal. Think about a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small and insignificant, but as it rolls, it gathers more snow, it grows in size, and it gains speed. This is what happens with consistency. The more you do something, the easier it gets, and the more results you begin to see. You might not see massive results in the beginning, but trust me, when the momentum kicks in, everything will start to fall into place. Are you willing to embrace the journey? Are you ready to fall in love with the grind, with the daily process of success? Because that's what it takes to build long-term success. You can't just focus on the destination. You have to focus on the journey, on every step you take along the way. And here's the truth. The journey is where you grow. The journey is where you evolve into the person capable of achieving your dreams. When you commit to consistency, you learn to love the grind. You understand that success isn't a single moment. It's a continuous process of growth. And that's where the real power lies. In the journey, in the grind, in the small actions you take every day. So, if you can stay consistent in the small things, I promise you, the big things will take care of themselves. Now, as we wrap up today's conversation, let's take a moment to revisit the most important lesson we've covered. Consistency is the key to your success. It's not about doing something grand every day. It's not about working tirelessly for hours on end. No, consistency is about the small things, the things you do day in and day out, no matter how insignificant they may seem in the moment. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not flashy. It's not about looking for shortcuts, magic formulas, or instant results. It's about doing the work when no one is watching. It's about staying committed to your vision even when it feels hard, even when you don't feel like showing up. It's about showing up every day, with persistence, with purpose, and with faith in the process. Because at the end of the day, it's not the big moments that define your success. It's the small, consistent actions that add up over time. 1. Persistence in the face of difficulty. We've all been there, Those moments when life feels heavy, when the road ahead looks uncertain, when everything seems like a struggle. And it's in those moments that most people give up. They stop showing up. But I want you to understand this. Persistence is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. It's not about having the perfect plan. It's about showing up, even when you're tired, even when you're discouraged, even when it feels like you're not making any progress. That's when your true strength shows up. Success is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And in a marathon, it's not the fast runners that win. It's the ones who keep going, step after step, mile after mile. Consistency is the difference between falling short and crossing the finish line. It's the ability to keep running, to keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when it feels like there's no end in sight. Now that we've talked about the power of consistency, let me give you something you can take away and put into action. Pick one area of your life that you want to improve. Just one. It could be your health, your career, your relationships, your personal development, or even something as simple as organizing your home. The key here is to start small. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Start with one habit, one action, and commit to doing it every day without fail. Let's say you want to improve your health. Don't jump into an intense workout routine right away. Start by committing to 15 minutes of exercise every day. Maybe it's a short walk, or a light workout, or some yoga. The goal isn't to make drastic changes overnight. It's to build the habit, to show up, and to keep building consistency. As you keep showing up, you'll notice that your 15 minutes turns into 30 minutes, and then 45 minutes. And before you know it, you've made progress without overwhelming yourself. Consistency is about compounding small actions. Think about the process of saving money. If you commit to putting away a small amount each day, it doesn't feel like a lot at first. But over time, those small deposits grow, and you're left with a significant amount of wealth. The same applies to your personal growth, your skills, your relationships, or any other area of your life. Start today. Pick one area, make a small commitment, and show up every single day. Start with 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, or even 15 minutes. It doesn't matter how small you start. What matters is that you start, and you stay consistent. 2. Build momentum. One of the most powerful things about consistency is that it builds momentum. At first, it's easy to feel like you're not getting anywhere. You might think, what's the point of writing just 200 words today? Or, how will a 10-minute workout make any difference? The truth is, those small steps, taken consistently, add up over time. And before you know it, you'll have built momentum. Momentum that pushes you forward when you feel like quitting. Momentum that propels you toward your goals. Let me leave you with one last thing. You have what it takes. It's not about being the smartest. It's not about having the best resources, the best opportunities, or the best circumstances. It's about consistency. It's about your willingness to show up and do the work every day no matter what. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who were born with extraordinary talent or luck. They are the ones who kept going when things got tough. They're the ones who learned how to persist, to keep moving forward, to keep showing up. I know it's hard. I know there are days when you feel like giving up. There are days when it feels like you're not making progress. But here's the truth. Progress is happening. You just might not see it yet. Keep going. The work you're putting in today will pay off tomorrow. It will pay off in ways you can't yet imagine. Success isn't a sprint. It's a journey. And the key to that journey is consistency. The road will be bumpy, there will be days of frustration, and there will be setbacks. But if you keep showing up, if you stay committed to doing the work, even when it feels hard, you will get there. I guarantee it. Remember, success doesn't happen in an instant. It's the result of small, consistent actions taken every day. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for motivation to strike. Create momentum by showing up day in and day out, even when it's hard. The results will come, and you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come. You are capable of more than you think. It's not about being the smartest, the strongest, or the most talented. It's about showing up and staying consistent. You have everything you need right now to start building the life you want. It's not going to be easy. There will be days when you'll feel like giving up, but I promise you, if you don't quit, you will succeed. So get up, show up, and never give up. Your success is just around the corner, and it's waiting for you. The only thing standing between where you are now and where you want to be is consistency. So make the decision right now. Commit to the process, trust in the grind, and keep moving forward no matter what. You've got this. Keep going, keep growing, and success will follow.